Hello, I'm Brian Tracy and welcome to the Brian Tracy Show. We have a remarkable guest here today who's going to give you some ideas that will really rock your mind. His name is Christopher Music and he's known as the Financial Prosperity Coach. He's a leading advisor, teacher, trainer, and a top national speaker on the subject of financial success. And he's going to share with us some of his very best ideas. Welcome, Christopher. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, like I said, I'm known as a financial prosperity coach because I've spent 20 years of my life in the financial planning industry as a practitioner. Wow. And I found that after building a practice, selling it, moving to Florida, getting involved in business consulting, and then starting another financial planning firm because it's really my passion, right, that I wanted to work with professional people. Dentists, chiropractors, people in the legal field, real estate agents, you name it. Yes. Because being a private practice, I know what it takes to make it. Yes. And so what I found when I started working with a lot of these professionals is that they were awesome at what they did technically. Yes. But those skills really didn't translate to an economic and fully fulfilling financial experience, right, when it came into their household. Yes. So I found that by creating some techniques, finding some basic principles that have been lost to time, that when we start looking at how to create that financial experience, there really is an optimal financial condition that any professional can experience, both in their practice and having that translate into their home life. And the whole idea is to go through life having a much better time, a much more prosperous time, right, so people can achieve their goals and dreams, as opposed to having financial catastrophes, disasters, or just plain frustration in trying to get where they want to go. So you help people organize their lives so they don't worry about money all the time. They're safe in the present and they're secure for the future. Well, that's the idea. And so this is based on laws that have been around in the last 5,000 years of the written record of our civilization. So, all we have to do is pull them back out, dust them off, and reapply them in light of the modern economy, the modern tax system, legal system, and so on, to actually get results that are measurable, predictable, and optimum. So question, what is your favorite law of all these laws, if you would just give one law? Well, I think the one that would have the most effect on someone is understand the basics of economics. I think economics is a subject that has been completely confused. Yes. And it's quite simple. If you make a product or service, and you then market that to the public, and they pay you money for that good or service. Right. And the whole idea is to then take that money and reinvest in things you need to better deliver the service and to achieve your lifestyle and the things that you want to do. That's economics. Right. Everything else that's talked about is a complication on that basic. Wonderful. Now tell me, what is your mission? You seem to be very passionate about what you do. So what would you say your mission in your business life is? Well, I got to tell you, like I said, I've been doing this for 2 decades, and I probably spent maybe $1 million out of my pocket finding out what didn't work. Right. I've made every mistake that one can make, yes, and I've read hundreds of books. I've studied thousands and thousands of hours, and I wanted to find the financial plan that would work for me, and enable me to protect myself. Enabled me to make enough income to do what I wanted and to be intelligent with my expenditures so that I didn't run into all kinds of problems. So really, at the end of the day, my mission is to help as many households as possible to understand what I've come to learn through my experience, right, and put it in very simple terms, very simple procedures, right, very basic rules, so that anybody in any walk of life can take advantage of this information and apply it directly to improve their financial experience. So that's your mission. Well, that's wonderful. Now, you're doing some unique things. There are more than one financial advisor in America, but you're doing some unique and special things that set you apart. What would you say those are? Well, I've discovered actually a new subject, and it is, in my view, the next evolution of what financial planning is as a subject. Yes. You see, the way financial planning is now is much more of a process that is done to affect the sales of products and services to the public. Right. The problem is that there's no real scientific method involved.
Right.
You know, 10 different financial advisors have 10 different potential results with a
Right.
client. Well, you apply that to dentistry, and people would never go to the dentist.
Right.
So what if we took the concept of starting with the end in mind
Right.
and figuring out what the optimum financial condition would be
Right.
for a household, and then work backward
Right.
to fill in the holes in that person's financial life
Right.
so that everyone can have a predictable, objectively measurable optimum financial condition. Now, the subject is called econologics. That's a new word
Right.
because I had to invent it
Right.
to differentiate what I do from what any other financial advisor does.
Right.
And the interesting thing is it actually has Greek derivation. The first definition of economy is the management of a household.
Right.
If you look at the Oxford Dictionary.
Yes.
And the derivation of that is Greek oikonomos,
Okay.
which was coined
Yes.
by Xenophon
Yes.
in ancient Greece.
Yes.
Logi, study of.
Right.
Ecos, practices and skills. So the definition is really the study and the practices and skills of the financial management of a household.
Wow.
Econologics.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yes.
That's a great point. Now, I've heard some really neat stories about your clients who you've gone to work with and really helped. Can you give us an example, a story about one of your successful clients?
Well, it would be pretty difficult to explain one, and the reason why is because there are 9 elements to everyone's financial life. And just as a brief overview, you have a fully written financial plan. You're operating on the basic rules of the subject.
Right.
The basic science of personal finance.
Right.
You have a business that's being very viable.
Right.
You're planning for future income. You're debt-free with excellent credit.
Right.
You have a full estate plan, a full asset protection plan,
Yes.
An optimized tax plan,
Right.
and an investment plan that is appropriate
Right.
for achieving your goals. So when someone comes to us, they may be strong in investments but very weak in asset protection.
Right.
Or they may have a great business but have excessive debt.
Right.
So if we take one example, a person can come to us and say, well, I think I'm doing okay. All right, well, let's take a look. So I have them take a quick 100-question test, which
Right.
creates a graph, and we can
Right.
take a look at each of these 9 areas
Right.
to see which ones are doing well
Right.
and which ones aren't. We call it the Financial Prosperity Index.
Right.
And one snapshot, we can take a look and see, well, you're great in investments, but look at the debt. So the financial plan is tailored to getting them into the optimal financial condition based on what their weaknesses are.
Wow.
So, for example, a physical therapist, private practice owner, he came to us a couple years ago, and in the last 2 years, we've been able to help him pay off tens of thousands of dollars of debt,
Right.
Better protect his assets using some basic laws
Right.
in his state and business structures. We were able to get him to invest where if the market crashed, he wouldn't lose a penny. Things like that.
Wow.
And I said, everyone's a bit different, but it's all intended to get everyone to that more optimum condition where they have that prosperous, consistent, predictable financial experience.
Wow. Wow, that is incredible. That is so important. And what you did is you just turned on an awful lot of lights in my brain because I've got the one but not the other. I'm strong in this area and weak in that area. So
Yeah.
you're going to be working for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Well, now, how can people get a hold of you if they want to get more information about what you do?
Well, there's 2 places they can go. One, obviously, my website, which is econologics.com.
Right?
And the other one would be my blog site. I create a special blog for private practice owners
Right.
who we tend to work with more often than not. And that's called the privatepracticemillionaire.com.
Wow, privatepracticemillionaire.com, the goal that every private practitioner has.
Exactly. And the whole idea is to get them to realize the maximum economic and social value in their practice,
Right.
but more importantly, to translate that into their household so that they can achieve their goals that they really originally set out to do when they got into private practice.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful.
Thanks so much, Brian.